Hey fellow indoor golfers, today we're going to do a little head-to-head comparison with the Skytrak and the Mevo Plus. Let's get after it. All right, so rolling right into it with Skytrak advantages. Number one, we're gonna go with battery life. That thing has 6 to 8 hour battery. Plug it in overnight, you can play lots of golf with it the next day. It's fantastic. Number two, putting in short game. Say most launch monitors struggle with putting in short game a little bit, but Skytrak definitely has an advantage in that game. Number three, history. Skytrak has been around since 2014, has a long history. I know people have had them for 5+ years. They still work. They've got a great history to them. Number four, space requirements. So as long as you have enough room to swing, you have enough room to use a Skytrak, it makes it great for some of these smaller packages that we have as well. Number five, no worries about interference. So you don't have to worry too much about ceiling fans and that kind of stuff. As long as the sun is not shining directly into the lens, it'll work just fine. And then number six, no dots on the ball. Turn that logo of the ball towards the Skytrak, you're good to go. All right, so rolling with the Mevo Plus advantages. We're gonna start with righty-lefty capabilities. So you don't have to move the launch monitor. You keep it in the same place. As long as you're hitting the ball from the same place, you're good to go. You just have to change the designation on the software. Number two, outdoor capabilities. The Mevo Plus is a Doppler. It works great outside, probably better outside than inside. You can put it in your golf bag, take it with you to the course. You can get your numbers on the course. Fantastic for that. Number three, no delay. When you hit the ball, it's going to come up on the screen. It's going to be less than 1 second, so it doesn't have much of a delay at all. It's really fantastic when it comes to that. Number four, there is no subscription when it comes to the Mevo Plus. So you get 5 courses out of the box, 17 driving ranges out of the box with no subscription. It's fantastic. And then number five, multiplayer. Multiplayer out of the box, no subscription. Can't do that with too many of the other ones, especially at this price point. And you can play up to 8 players on that E6 platform. So it's fantastic when it comes to multiplayer. When it comes to numbers on a Skytrak, it's very basic. It's an entry-level launch monitor. Starts at $19.95 if you get just the driving range. Game improvement plan comes with a metal case, skills challenges, bag mapping, wedge matrix, long drive closest to the pin. It's $2244.99. Playing improved plan comes with the same stuff, and then you add the 12 single player golf courses. That's $2344.99. So it's relatively affordable when it comes to launch monitors. Very accurate. You're probably talking 95, 96% as accurate as a TrackMan or a GC Quad. Numbers wise, you've got, obviously your distance numbers, your carry and your total. You've got your launch angle, backspin, ball speed. Those are the main things that this is going to read. And then your club speed, and then you have side spin and side angle. Side angle is kind of your club path. And then on the right, you'll see height, descent, and then offline as well. So it's kind of the angles that your ball goes, how high it goes, what angle it comes down at. For an instructor, that's kind of important to understand how the ball's flying, so we can help you gain distance and stuff like that. For the Mevo Plus, it is a Doppler-based system, so it's a radar. And when that ball flies, it's actually tracking the ball as it flies, and it's tracking the spin and the speed, and it's getting a lot of data as the ball flies. So they're really fantastic systems. TrackMan's probably the most popular launch monitor on PGA Tour. It's also a Doppler. It's got several of them, and this has one, but it's still really good. Doppler is a great system for this. For indoor mode, you do have to put a little metallic dot on the ball. That helps it track the spin and all that kind of stuff. So it makes it relatively accurate when it comes to the indoor stuff. It's very accurate when it comes to numbers. You also get a ton of numbers. So you've got your club speed and your ball speed, which a lot of these things are going to have anyway. Your vertical launch angle, your spin axis, which is the yaw of the ball or how the ball flies in the air. Lateral, as far as how far right or left it is. Carry, it actually calculates the roll, gives you a number for that, your total. It also has angle of attack, which isn't up on the screen, but it has angle of attack, which for an instructor is very important because that tells me what happens at the bottom. So there's a ton of data that comes out of this. Do some driver averages real quick to get an idea. So we'll start with the ball speed. They're very similar. Skytrak has the average ball speed at 151. Mevo has it at 153. Launch angle, about the same, 11.8 for the Skytrak versus 12 for the Mevo. And then backspin, again, very similar, within 100 RPMs. So that's really, really close. Lateral is a little different. So where the Skytrak has it 7 yards left, the Mevo has it 2.7 yards right as the average. And then carry, again, very, very similar, 240 versus 239.8. Again, I would focus on the carry and know that the carry is the same. And then club head speed is very close as well. So within 2 miles an hour of each other. And then smash factor 1.46 versus 1.44. So you see in the numbers that they're very similar. And if you go and check it out with the 7-iron, launch angle 17.3 versus 17.4. Backspin, I will say on the Mevo, I had one misread that was 937 on the spins, where that shot on the Skytrak was 5,300. So that obviously messed up the average a little bit there. Lateral, 2 yards right versus 1 yard right. So a lot closer on a 7-iron than a driver. Carry distance, 188 for the Skytrak, 181 for the Mevo. Club speed, same thing. A little bit lower on the Skytrak with 86 versus 92 on the Mevo. If you look at these numbers and compare these numbers, though, you see there is a little bit more of a variation in some of these shots with the 7-iron where on the Mevo than there is on the Skytrak. The Skytrak seems to be a little more consistent with some of those numbers. So the Mevo numbers are definitely a little closer to what I would expect to see, though. And then sand wedge, launch angle, the exact same number. Backspin, very close, within 200 RPMs. Lateral, 5 versus 3.3, so very similar. Carry distance is dramatically different. 110 for the Skytrak versus 121 for the Mevo. Club head speed, that's a big discrepancy as well. So 87.2 with a Mevo, that would match up closer to a 92 with a 7-iron versus 79 with the Skytrak. So you get a little bit of discrepancies there. Obviously, the driver was very, very similar. 7-iron, we had a couple of misreads with the Mevo. And then the sand wedge, I think I would probably go with the Mevo numbers on the sand wedge, to be honest. I think that the Doppler, obviously being in the air, reads a little bit better than the photometric, where you might actually be missing half the pictures with the Skytrak. Probably trust those wedge numbers just a little bit more on the Mevo. So after 3 rounds, the cards are in. Let's do our reviews and see how we scored. Skytrak, good battery life, long history, no dots on the ball, works better for short game and putting, needs less space to get used inside. Big deal when it comes to some people's spaces. If you have a 10 by 14 room, you can use a Skytrak. You couldn't use a Mevo. Bads for Skytrak. You've got your subscriptions. You have to have a subscription if you want to be able to play golf with the Skytrak. Single player. If you want multiplayer, you have to add software through Skytrak, as they won't let us sell that for them. Righty lefties. If you want to use righty and lefty, you have to move it back and forth across the hitting strip. And number 4, doesn't work great outside. You can use it indoors very well. It's going to be very good inside. If you take it outside, any sun that gets into that lens is not going to work very well. Mevos. Let's start with the goods. It's a Doppler-based system. They tend to be a little bit more accurate than photometric because it's going to track the ball the whole time. It comes multiplayer out of the box, up to 8 players out of the box. So 5 golf courses, limited course list, but it's multiplayer right out of the box. You also don't need a subscription with that. And then lastly, it's very, very versatile. So you can take it indoors, you can take it outdoors. Works probably a little bit better outdoors than it does indoors, but it'll still work and read. You see that in the shot comparison. So bad for Mevos. You've got the battery life, 1.5 to 2 hours on gameplays. Not the best battery life in the world. It's okay, you can leave it plugged in. You just have to make sure you start with a full charge so it doesn't run out quicker. Short game and putting. You have to have one level for at least 5 feet after your hitting surface in order to make that work well. Flightscope also has to be on one level. Inside, it gets bothered by interference, whether it's ceiling fans, stuff like that. Any little distractions will distract that Doppler from it. Okay, and then lastly, the floor projector. That's one of those interferences we're talking about. If you have the projector on the floor, that light that comes out of that projector will not allow it to read very well when it comes to putting in short game as well. For me personally, I'm going to call it a drop. You know, I think it depends on your space. I think it depends on what your use is. I think it depends on how much versatility you need, stuff like that. Those are all things that we can help you with at Shop Indoor Golf. You can look at our website. We've got a lot of products on there, not just these two. shopindoorgolf.com. You can email us, sales@shopindoorgolf.com. You can look at us at YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. We have all that social media going as well. So I hope we helped you today. I hope it gives you a better idea of what you're looking for. See you soon.